It seemed, Mark, like you had no interest in bringing Max back. Did you have problems with his leadership abilities, or why would there seem no interest at all from the Canadiens in bringing him back?
Well, the reason if a player asks for a trade, there's a reason for that, and we accommodate the player. So, to me, a contract extension was not on the table.
Are you planning to name another captain?
Well, like I said, it happened last night late. We will sit down as a group with Claude and we'll discuss. But right now, we don't have a time frame, and I can't. I don't have anything to tell you about this. But when we do, we'll let you guys know.
Had Max not asked for a trade, would this still be something?
Well, that's something that I can. If he not, but he did. So I'm not gonna go there.
Just trying to. It's hard for us to hear one side say they didn't and another side. So could you clarify this? Did he know that when he made that request, did he know that you had no interest in signing him to an extension? And was that a result of that?
Like I said, you can, by the CBA is July 1st.
Yes.
Okay? And that was way prior to that. So there was no contract possibility at the time. And I'm going to leave it to that. Okay?
So you never at any point approached Max Pacioretty and told him there's a possibility that you would trade him during last season?
Did I ask him what I told him?
Did you ever
No.
tell him at any point that
No.
would be on the
I had
table?
conversation with him because I think, just like a lot of our players, he had a tough year. So as the captain, I've had many talks with him. But did I ever tell him? No.
I don't remember a trade being made at 1 in the morning. How important was it to get this done before the golf tournament today?
Actually, it wasn't based on the golf tournament. There was Vegas is a 3-hour time difference, and the way Nick Suzuki was on the ice, and the way we operate, and Vegas want to make sure the game was going to be over. And once you make the trade call, you always do the trade, announce the trade after. You don't sit on a trade for 6-10 hours. You just don't do that. We don't do that.
Have there been many other trades at 10 o'clock on a Sunday night?
Pat, I don't know. I really don't know.
I'm just wondering, in your experience, have you ever had a trade at 6?
No, I had trades. I had one about 3 in the morning. Because it was with a Eastern team, a Western team, and they had to get the game over, and tell the players, so you have to wait. And
If you're important for this trade to be consummated before training camp open to remove potential distractions.
Well, yeah, but you're not gonna force a trade just because of that. But the timing, worked out good for us. Yes.
How did the trade develop?
End of last season, Mark, when you and Geoff said at the podium, you mentioned attitude
Yeah.
one of the main was the captain. Part of that.
You know what? It was a team thing, and I'm not gonna stand here and point the fingers to Max Pacioretty about attitude. As a team, we did not have the right one, and I want this to change. And the players were aware at the end of the year, and they well know now, and it'll be part of my talk when the season starts.
Do you expect that?
Trade develop, Mark?
Oh boy, this has been going on for a while, and there was time where obviously, for us, Nick Suzuki was the key piece, because we like a young A prospect that was picked 13 overall, which I believe at the time we had him 11 in our list. So, and teams, a lot of teams are. Well, George went to a thing, he mentioned to me in the past where we trade a young player, and he was not very keen on that. But at the end of the day, to get, you have to give, and you were able to get the deal done. And I hope it works for both parties. I really do.
Were they given permission to talk to Max before on an extension? Were they allowed to speak
Yes.
to him before?
Yes.
They have already done that, as far
Yes.
as you know. Okay.
Yes.
Do you expect Tatar to start the season here, Mark, or is there a possibility of moving him also? And just your thoughts on him as a player?
No, I expect him to be here. Listen, the player just got traded from Detroit to Vegas at the deadline, and the value of Thomas Tatar was a first, second, and third round pick, which it's a pretty good price to play for a player. And I'm not going to deny you guys he didn't perform up to par in Vegas, but also it was a short period of time, and like I said, we're moving a player that last year had a tough year, but overall he's been producing pretty good for us. So we hope that Thomas could bring back, I think he was averaging about 20 goals a year for the past 4 or 5 years. So we feel that he could help our power play in that situation. And again, it's going to be up to him to perform. But getting Nick Suzuki was also a big thing for us.
Will you let the
Suzuki-
player-
To arrive in Montreal.
Pardon me?
Tatar and Suzuki.
I don't know. I haven't talked to them. No.
Will you let the players vote for the next captain, Mark, or are you going to name somebody?
I don't know yet. I haven't really thought about it. And but whatever happens, when it happens, I'll tell you guys, how it was decided. If
Will it be before the season starts, do you think?
I guess I don't have a time frame for you. I really don't.
Do you have someone in mind that you
I don't have anything in mind.
Mark,
But I like that because you keep
Mark,
coming.
Mark, let's start the controversy now. Is Suzuki a center?
Well, Pat, you know what? Before I start a controversy, I'm going to be, and I want you guys to take note on this one, okay? His draft year, a lot of teams, especially us, obviously, we saw a guy that could play both. We are aware that last year he played a lot on the wing, okay? And that's the junior level. We are aware that the last game in the rookie tournament he was playing the wing, okay? So I'm not going to stand here and tell you, no, he's a centerman, because you know what? I don't know. All I know, this is what he's been. And a lot of players, young players, even that play full season, either in college or junior, they go pro, they become wingers. So I don't know. But what I do know is we have Kotkaniemi, Paling, or young centermen. And Nick could be one, but if he is a winger, you know what? Max is gone. It's a guy that could play there and produce. So, I think, and if he's a center, then they give us even more depth. But at the end of the day, we do have good center coming through, and I'm open to see where he's going to play when it's all set and
Is
done.
still a retool or a rebuild now?
I think they asked me that over there, and I'm going to tell you, it's a word that I'm not really willing to use, because if you say rebuild, that means you start from scratch. You could pick an age, say everything after over 26, 27, whatever number you pick, we're going to move these guys and start with all young guys. Well, Carey Price is going to be here for a long time. Shea Weber is going to be here for a long time. So we need some leadership, and I want to have a team that's going to compete, to make the playoff this year and get better every year. So call it whatever you want, but to me, it's a rebuild. Again, the way the NHL is set up today, you could finish worst team in the league, have the first pick overall. You go to the lottery, you go from 1 to 3, and that year there was this franchise player that was there, and because of the lottery, you didn't get him. So to go say, you know what, we're gonna go this route and it's gonna work. There's no guarantee. So I don't think you could do that anymore.
Without using that term, though, is it fair to say, and are you willing to say, that the emphasis right now for the Canadians is on the future more so than the present?
100%. But you know what? We have some players too also who are leadership older that's going to help, bring these young kids along.
Given how public the situation was with Max and in fact what happened at the draft, did you expect that you'd be able to get the kind of return that you ended up with in this year?
You never know. Honestly, you never know. It's hard to tell. I mean, there's always, it's hard to tell. It's a good question, but I could tell you right now that we're getting Nick, it was something that we really had to have.
Is there a chance he could play this year?
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, he's going to come to camp. We're going to watch him closely. He still could go back to Owen Sound. That's a possibility. So we're not going to rush him, but we're open to see what he's going to bring during training camp.
Mark, can you break down his skill set and what really enticed you to him?
Well, he's a skilled, he's a cerebral player. He thinks the game well. He's. I know the half wall. He's been playing that. Make plays. He thinks offensively, and that's what he brings. And he's got a skill set that made him the 13th pick overall.
You seem to have something set in your mind as far as what someone like Max Pacioretty should bring back in a trade, and I don't know if that matched up with what your colleagues might have thought, or considering his contract situation. Did you come close to that notion or that idea of what a guy like Max Pacioretty should fetch in a trade?
Well, for us, the key was to getting a prospect. In our mind, somebody else might think he's a B prospect, but obviously Vegas thought he was an A prospect. We did it at the draft, and we still today. So, again, we bring a young kid who has speed, we have a skill set that brings offensive to our game. So that was the key, and we were able to get him. And yet again, I'm sure Vegas wasn't jumping up and down to give Nick Suzuki, but if you want to get a player like Max, you have to give, and that was the deal.
Whoever your next captain is, what's the best advice you would give him?
Be ready for one-on-one.
Again, you know, Stu, it's a good question, but honestly, I didn't sleep much last night, and I you know, if I need to tell a captain how to be captain, maybe he's not the right guy.
Mark, what can you say about the young core 25 and unders that you have now between him, your draft pick, even Jonathan and just the foundation that you're going through here?
Well, it's, you know, it's a young league. It's getting younger and younger. You mentioned these names, and we have guys coming. We have 10 more picks, I believe, for next year's draft. We picked I don't know how many last year. So, you know, the future is we're going that way. We're drafting players. That's the way you're going to get them, and that's what we're focusing on right now. But we don't want to lose sight that, you know what, we want to be a competitive team. We want to get better, and we want to fight. We want to fight to make the playoff next year. That's our goal.
First of all, I'd like to, on behalf of the Montreal Canadiens organization, I'd like to thank Max Pacioretty for everything he's given to our organization. 10 great seasons as a Montreal Canadien and as a captain of our team, and also played a great role in the community and raised money for our foundation and for the hospital. And so we're grateful for everything that he gave to us, and we wish him the very best in his next phase.
Geoff, why did management feel it was necessary to go and like to part ways with Max at this point?
Well, it's been ongoing discussions, and when the request was made to look at making a trade, we started to actively go after that, and I think the two organizations agreed, the player and the organization agreed that it was probably in the best interest of Max and the organization to start to look for a trade.
So when you say the request was made, can you just clarify what that means?
Yeah, just a request to be traded was made. I don't really want to go into the details.
When was that request
Yeah.
made, Geoff?
You know what? I don't really want to go into the details of that, but it's been going on for several months now that we've been trying to make this happen, and here we are today, the morning after.
Max and his agent denied that they'd asked to be traded, or are you going against what they said, or does this happen afterwards?
No, you know, from our perspective, we're just going to focus on telling the truth, and that is that a request was made, and that's it.
Max obviously loved playing in Montreal. There's been a series of players who love playing here who have been dealt away. How do you explain that to fans who might be wondering?
Yeah, no, Max was a great Montreal Canadien, and he always will be a great Montreal Canadien. He's always welcome back in this market as a person. And every once in a while, an organization has to make a decision. The team has to make a decision to move on. And mutually, Max's side with his agent and the Montreal Canadiens agreed that it probably was the right time to make a move.
How important was it to
Did
get
you
this?
feel like you had to make this trade before the season started?
No, I don't think so. I think, like I said, it's been going on for a while, and the opportunity came, and it happened at 1 o'clock in the morning. So it's really hard to predict when, and it takes two to tango. The other team has to engage as well, and it just so happened that recently that's what happened.
Was it maybe becoming a little bit clear, Geoff, just the way the last couple of weeks have gone, that had this spilled over into camp in the regular season, it could have been maybe a distraction that the organization otherwise didn't?
There's no question we are entirely focused now on the team and getting a great start. We've got some new coaches, we've got some new players, and we're excited about the season. And we're turning the page. And that's nothing against Max. It's just it's what happens in hockey once in a while. And he and I are friends, and we spent a lot of time together over the past 10 years. And I appreciate and I like him very much, and I wish him nothing but the best.
Do you expect to see a new captain before the start of the season?
That's a good question. I think you have to ask Mark that question. But everything happened relatively quickly over the past little while, so I'd talk to Mark and Claude about that.
Do you think Max has taken too much of the blame for what happened last season?
No, I think that I think it was a tough season for the whole team, and I'm hoping and expecting that the whole team is going to come back ready to get a good start.
Did Max specify why he wanted to leave? Did he tell you in plain words, this is why I want to leave?
Yeah, so I really don't want to get into the details of that. I think it's enough to say that what I said, and the details are not really relevant anymore. And this organization will never say anything that negatively impacts a player. The integrity of Montreal Canadiens and the NHL, and he's a great person, a great hockey player, and we wish him the best.
How disappointing was it, Geoff, that the way it played out, like publicly, you know, on social media with the agent coming out. How disappointing was that to you?
It's hard to observe everything that gets said out there, but at the same time we've maintained a very high level of integrity and we've never said anything, and we believe that's the right approach to dealing with the situation, because we have to protect the player and the organization, and that's what we did.
Have you had a chance to talk with Tatar?
I have not talked to Tatar yet, but I'm looking forward to it.
Jeff, Mark's been reluctant to use the term rebuild, and I think it's because he has a very specific definition of what that word means. But this trade would seem to suggest that the team is gearily is not even a word, but I mean clearly looking forward to the future as opposed to the present. How do you, as team president and owner, feel about where your team is at, considering where it was at when Mark came in and where it's at?
Yeah, I would say. I mean, there are all kinds of buzzwords around retooling, rebuilding, and all these things. But there's no question that Mark has made an effort, especially this summer, to become younger, faster, and build a pipeline of players that are going to allow us to be successful over the longer term. But at the same time, he's also identified the players that he wants to keep in the organization and build around them. And I think both are important. And so, slight retool, rebuild, whatever we want to call it. There's no question we're getting younger. We're bringing in more talent, and we're also maintaining that core group of players that we believe can take us farther.
It'll require patience to see that through, both on your part and I guess on your fans' part. Are you confident that this market has the patience to go through the process?
Well, we have the most knowledgeable, best fans in the world, and I think they understand what we're trying to do here. And I can only hope that they're going to be behind us, because it's going to be a fun journey.